Oh, do you also have like butterflies in your belly before you go on stage?
Every time, and I love it so much now, but the first time I had to do it was like, oh.
My light just fell. 1 second.
By the way, you look so pretty.
You do too.
Give us a little glimpse of how your journey started in esports. Looking at the camera, preferably.
My journey in esports started in 2013. I was watching the LCS back then, and I was amazed to see all these people passionate about esports the same way I was, because I really thought I was alone back then. And then I got to my first event in 2014, and everything is so big, everything is so great. I love everything so much about what I'm seeing right now, and I have to be part of this journey.
My journey started before I even had any idea that it started. I was about 13, 14, and I used to compete playing Smash Bros. Melee back when I lived in Brazil. Fast forward to me graduating high school, I studied game development, and my first job after graduation was with Echo Fox and Vision Entertainment, so I got introduced to the world of League of Legends esports, and I got to experience the players going into the facility to train and then seeing them perform in the LCS, and to me that was really, really intriguing and really amusing. And after, Echo Fox exploded, I ended up working with Invent Global, and that's when I knew that I actually really wanted to focus on getting to know esports better. So I had the opportunity to become an interviewer, and basically that's when things really, really started for me, I would say.
Kind of a wacky way how my journey started is I had started in cosplay, which sounds crazy, so hold on. I started cosplaying, and my first gig professionally as a cosplayer was with Riot World Season 2. And I kind of was like, this is pretty cool, but my degree was in costume design, and I was making costumes for movie as my day job. And then after a couple of years, I kept getting hired by video game companies. And so then I was like, I think I want to work in gaming and in esports. Somebody who I met at one of the first jobs was like, hey, I'm working at this esports startup. Would you be interested in switching careers and working for us as our community manager? And I was like, wait, this is my chance. So I said, hell yeah. Went over there, worked at the esports startup for a couple years, and then just last year got hired at Riot.
So back in 2016, start of 2016, I was discovered by a Greek organization streaming Counter-Strike. Back then I was a full-time Counter-Strike streamer. I previously played professionally in the team before, and they requested me to go to ESL One Cologne to do interviews with pro players for the major. And it was absolutely fantastic. I've never done anything like this in my life before. Yeah, and I met a lot of cool people. I had interviews with Sembla and Pansy and all sorts of cool big pro players, and it just literally blew my mind. I think that was the moment where it was it's starting to click, this is what I want to do, and I transition from streaming to I really want to do esports.
Well, originally my journey in esports started as a player. I was a competitive Call of Duty player way back in 2014, 2015. And then I moved on to Rainbow Six Siege. It quickly transitioned into PC, and then slowly worked my way up until semi-professional league, where I was one of the first semi-professional female players in the ANZ region. And then not long after that, I applied for a professional organization in Germany. I relocated to Germany as a professional world championship coach. Then I went from coaching into analyst desk work, and then I went from analyst desk work into casting and analyst desk work. And I just recently finished on the desk of the World Championship Grand Finals. So that's my story.
That's such a weird question. So I've been hired as a cosplayer for esports for almost 8 years. But as far as somebody working in the back end, I've been working in esports for 3 years.
I have been officially making money in esports for a couple of years properly, but I've been, dabbling in esports since about 2015. So it's been about 6 or so years, yeah.
I've been working in esports since 2018, so that's 3 years.
I got my first contract in 2016 for a TV channel, launching its very first program about esports on TV, and I was very lucky to be a part of it.
It will be 5 years this year, so almost a boomer in the scene, almost.
Not even close. My favorite moment was to step in the LEC studio and to be able to experience European League of Legends at its finest, and to be able to interview the players and do my job on site was really, really incredible.
My favorite moment in esports would probably be standing on the analyst desk at the Six Invitational World Championships, and I was working the grand final, and I just looked around to 4,500 people, and I just kind of realized, like, this is my life.
Summer 2020, EU Masters, walking into the LEC studio and realizing that that's it. That's the studio that I've always wanted to be in. That's the studio that I've always wanted to work in.
I think my favorite moment in esports was when I hosted the World's Finals in 2019. We were in Paris. I was with the French casters, and it meant so much for me to be able to host a World's Finals at home with my friends, with all our fans watching, and just sharing these moments with the community.
So my favorite moment was I came up with a community event, and it was all women's League of Legends tournament, and we thought it was going to be a small thing, and it kind of blew up. This tournament had 120 girls the first time we ever did it, and the second year over 300 women signed up, and we had like some great games, and it just was pretty awesome being able to bring the women esports community together.
The achievement I'm probably most proud of was back when I was a coach. I went and relocated to Germany, and I was at my first ever LAN in Sweden, DreamHack Winter. And this was the only ticket left to the World Championships of Six Invitational. And we were going up against an American team, and we ended up beating them in the very last map. And I couldn't have been prouder, and we all just screamed and realized we were going to Montreal. We were going to the World Championships.
I think the moment I'm the most proud of was the 2017 finals in Paris for the LCS, because it's the first time I got on stage to do an interview, which was both in French and in English. And this moment means a lot to me, especially because I was so scared. And just the fact that I was able to overcome my fear of being on stage and just being stressed, this is a moment I will remember for sure.
I think my personal achievement would be to have completed my degree in game development and to be able to successfully integrate myself in the field after coming from, like a country that's like so difficult to to work in gaming as, and like establish myself in the United States. That was like a big thing.
Because there's something I'm working on now and I can't talk about.
Oh.
So TBD.
I'm proud of all of my achievements, actually. I think everyone should be proud of every single step they managed to achieve on their way to their big goal.
Right now, my biggest female inspirations are Laure and Ashley Kang. Laure was one of my first interviews when I arrived in Europe. And the fact that she was really down to earth and was willing to sit down with me and to share her journey and to share what was, what we all women know, that it's a difficult field. It's hard to progress, and you have to be, in a way, stubborn, persistent, and have faith. And that was very eye-opening and very inspirational to me.
I'm going to take it further back, all the way when it started. I had an interview with Pansy. It was one of my very first interviews, and she was so down to earth and so sweet to me. And she told me about all the hardships and all the things that you have to go through, and how you need to keep your head held high, and how, sometimes you need to go through the shit, but you shouldn't allow people to put you through it. It was actually very eye-opening and very inspirational, and seeing her fight for what she wants to do.
Especially over the years of esports, and when you're watching esports particularly, someone like Pansy jumps out to you as someone who just kind of doesn't care about anyone else. She just does her job and she's really good at it. She doesn't let any of the crap hit her. And I think if I have an inspiration in the scene, it's probably always been Pansy. So yeah.
My biggest female inspiration, she's not in esports at all, but her drive and her motivation and her hard work. And it's Lady Gaga. Like, I literally every morning when I'm being lazy, I'm like, what would Lady Gaga do? Because she has accomplished all of her dreams. So she's a big inspiration to me just in general. And then as far as in esports, Frost Current for sure. I think she's a total badass, a fashion icon, just amazing. And so I definitely also look up to her. We all love Frost. Who doesn't love Frost?
I think my biggest female inspiration is actually women in general. The simple fact that I can work with so many talented women, and the fact that we have even more women getting interested in esports over the years is an inspiration to me, because I really thought I was alone back then, and I'm looking forward to seeing more women join us in the years to come.
LEC.
Sorry, I can't give any sneak peeks because I'm NDA'd. I'm so sorry.
I think what I would try to do next is like take a step back from the camera, from the sets, and like to have a vision of the whole production side of things and try to find new talents, to put them on camera and try to help and make their ideas grow so that we have more people who get their chance to be on new programs maybe.
One of my future goals is to become a better video producer. Now I have the opportunity to do all these documentaries and to really elevate the level of my interviews with my team at DOT. And I really want to see where that takes me, whether it is hopefully on a broadcast or wherever it is. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen.
I think because I do so much in esports and I never expected to be where I am right now, it's probably incorrect of me to say that I actually have big goals, because I've already smashed through most of the goals I originally had. I guess one of the more tangible goals that I have is to get on the Esports Awards list for either a caster or an analyst. I don't care about winning, but I'd love to get shortlisted at some point in the future in the next few years. So we'll keep trying.
So thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes!
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so very much for having me.